Long time no see. So I'm 11 weeks pregnant, and about another week I'll get a scan, and I'll also get an NI non-invasive prenatal test, and that would tell me the sex of the baby. So I wanted to share my experience with you guys in terms of what the last few years has been like for me. I realise that water fasting is fabulous, but for me there are a couple of issues with it. And number one was I have a tight twist in my bowel down sort of near my rectum, and I've had that for years. And so when I was refeeding, after the fast, I was refeeding vegan. So I was anemic when I miscarried at the age of 46, because I miscarried at 10.5 weeks, and I bled for the next 5 of 7 weeks. So I bled, I can't remember how many days out of how many days, but I just bled. And after that, I was severely anemic, and I didn't realize it for quite a while. And because I was eating vegan, and I can't tolerate iron supplements, I never really got my iron up really high again. And I realize now that personally, I don't think, to be honest, especially after a fast, for me, a vegan diet is nourishing enough, because I really struggled with iron deficiency until I started incorporating lamb shank bone broth into my diet. So now my iron levels were really high before I got pregnant, but since I've been pregnant, I just can't face meat. So I've almost gone back to mostly being vegan, just because, because of the morning sickness all the time, and just an aversion to meat and things that I was eating, or even bone broth. So anyway, because what made me realize that I was just really malnourishing myself, there was a couple of issues. There was that, because when I was refeeding, I wasn't refeeding to nourish my body sufficiently. And the other issue is, because I had a tight twist in my bowel, when I was refeeding, I was overeating, and food was getting backed up, and I got something called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And I struggled with that for almost 2 years, and it was hell. I pretty much couldn't eat anything without becoming severely bloated, and I was constantly constipated. And that really got bad after I started fasting, and I realized now, it was a combination of the twist in the bowel and overeating on the refeeding and eating a shitload of carbs because I was vegan, and just that whole combination caused this SIBO. And I was really lucky after 2 years, and that adversely affected my fertility as well. Okay, so not only was I not eating, I think, probably nourishing enough food, I started almost absorbing food properly with the SIBO and the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth that I got. So the way I overcame that, I consulted this specialist herbalist in Tasmania, and I bought this herbal tincture, and I consulted another specialist herbalist in Byron Bay. I think it's called Byron Herbalist. Can't remember now. Anyway, but ultimately, thank God, what helped me overcome the SIBO was one probiotic called DSM 17938, and you can get it from the pharmacy in Nestle colic baby drops, but you got to look DSM 17938, and it's also sold in BioGaia Protectus. So BioGaia patented this probiotic, and it was amazing. And it literally, after 5 days of taking this probiotic, I started to reduce my bloating, I started to digest food again, and it was like a miracle. And then I discovered another one of BioGaia's probiotics called you can buy it in BioGaia Osfortis, but it's ATCCPTA 6475, and there's a lot of research behind that. And so I was couldn't get my hands on that one fast enough, and that combination, just over the months, those SIBO symptoms went away. So I think I was lacking bone broth, to be honest, and probiotics. Okay, so I think that if I had, you know, miscarried at 46, then did a long water fast, then refed with bone broth, and you was taking these probiotics, I think I would have had a much better chance of falling pregnant again naturally. But then what happened was, like at 48 and a half, 49, just as I started to get the digestion right, or actually even before I got the digestion right, my hormones started playing up actually. So, and it was actually, yeah, through the worst of the SIBO. So it was shit. So by the time I started taking the probiotics, that's right, by the time I started taking the probiotics, I had stopped ovulating. And I thought, oh well, now I'm taking the probiotics, maybe I'll start ovulating again. But I didn't. So, excuse me. And then I tried to take Chinese herbs, and they gave me gastritis. They were shit too, so it just didn't work. None of that shit worked. So then I got to 49, and my doctor said, you should go see a fertility specialist. And so then I found out that, like, the age cutoff in Australia for, like, IVF is like 50, 51, 52, 53. And there was one clinic in Australia that said they'd treat to 55, but I'm not really sure if they're right on that, because I know other clinics owned by them is their cutoff is 52. So anyway, let's say the oldest I could find was 53. So I thought, holy shit. Anyway, bottom line is I got donor embryos. And the female donor is Chinese, but I don't care about that. I cared initially for the child's sake. I thought, okay, but the husband is Caucasian, so and they had their family, they had leftover embryos, they donated to me. So I just think that I can help my baby with have a mindset where it doesn't matter that, you know, they will look different to me, because they still will be half Caucasian. Do you know what I mean? And I think I can make them strong and not care about what other people think, if, you know, if there's like a negative connotation of that. I just know I can give them a good mindset. So yeah, so that's what's happened, and I wanted to share with you guys, just in case you're wondering. You know, I never gave up. I wasn't going to give up. And I'm a tight ass. I didn't want to spend all this money on IVF, but I have, and I fell pregnant on my first transfer. But I did have to get a hysteroscopy to remove a polyp. It's before my transfer, because yeah, there was a polyp found at my first scan, at the 12-day lining scan. The fertility specialist saw a polyp. He said, I'm not going to do a transfer until you get that removed. So $2,000 later, which is cheap, because he wanted to charge me $3,000, but I found somewhere else to get it done by even a better doctor for $2,000. And then yeah, I just went back to him for the transfer, and you beauty. Now, I did actually work really hard at getting a good lining, and my fertility specialist was raving about my lining, how good it looked. So I don't know if any of you guys are interested on what I did to create a good lining for my transfer. I can share that with you guys, but if no one says anything, I probably won't. Okay, thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later. Bye.